All right, let's go right now to senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy, live from the White House. Peter, we know the president has been briefed. So what are you now hearing from the administration?
I've been told, Anita, that President Trump has been briefed throughout the morning, and the way that information flows in this West Wing is different than what we've seen, say, during the Biden administration, where a lot of information would have to be collected before one or two officials would be authorized to go and brief the president. In this White House, as information comes in, as we understand it, it is presented to the president. And so there are a number of military and diplomatic officials who might be involved with some of these briefings. We're trying to figure out exactly who is here in the West Wing on Good Friday. There are a good amount of people out of town. And we know that with these briefings that President Trump has been getting for a month of epic fury, most of them have been showcasing big explosions, big bombs going off at various places in Iran. This is the first time that something like this has happened. Jennifer talked about the pilots who were accidentally shot down in friendly fire in Kuwait. This is different because those pilots all landed in Kuwait. These pilots are, one of them has been rescued and the other one, it's possible has been rescued, and there's a delay in us getting information, but it's also possible that these combat search and rescue missions are ongoing. There is an intentional delay with the Department of War and CENTCOM giving us the information just because they want to make sure that all the pilots and all of the combat search and rescue teams who are flying much, much lower than a bombing raid mission, that they are all as safe as can be before they tell us what exactly is going on. So I was told about an hour ago that we should expect something soon from CENTCOM. Still waiting on that, which tells us that stuff is still probably going on the ground there. Anita.
Yeah, and I know, Peter, how much importance President Trump puts, of course, on the safety of all the soldiers and military out there at the moment. I wonder how this might change anything moving forward. I mean, until this pilot is, the second pilot is rescued or found, how does that perhaps change how he views what's going on in Iran at the moment and the next steps?
It would be unlikely that this is going to change anything now that the president has basically put out the word that there are 2 or 3 weeks left. They are going to hit Iran really, really hard and try to open the Strait of Hormuz. The objectives, achieving those objectives is still going to require a lot of American air power over Iran. And so it would be unlikely, just based on public statements that the president has made and other conversations that we've had with him, it would be unlikely that the objectives would change, that the manpower there would change before the 2 or 3 week window closes. And we might see the president today. We don't know. He's got, later on this hour, in about 20 minutes, his schedule is showing a policy meeting in the Oval Office. Then it shows another policy meeting at 3 o'clock in the Oval Office, and then a signing time at 3:30. Those are all listed to be closed press today, but sometimes the president changes his mind at the last minute and lets cameras in. So if he has something that he wants to say, he's going to have 3 chances in the next 2 hours and 20 minutes to say it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.